Welcome to this audiobook summary of Never Split the Differences by Chris Voss. What is the most important skill you can learn besides listening? It is the art of speaking and articulating the right words in a discourse. Chris Voss, known for his high-profile FBI career, is a negotiator and a professor who spent decades connecting with people and understanding what they want. He concluded that humans crave empathy from other individuals, and it can be used to one's advantage. We often dream about having the bigger things in life, such as luxury, comfort, and wealth. But we often forget that to materialize our dreams, we must use the power of our words. In early civilizations, negotiation was the first powerful tool that humans used. They would argue, talk, and discuss, which was a way for them to transmit their thoughts to one another. A person who knows the art of speaking isn't born with this skill. Rather, he spends many years practicing, building his stamina, and understanding when speaking and not speaking. What makes us good negotiators is our desire to connect with other individuals. Chris Voss's approach to dealing with people has suggested that people want to feel heard and seen. Many years of his life were spent dealing with criminals and hostages. He understands the art of negotiation and its basic principle, empathy. You must listen to someone to make them feel connected to you before you speak. Make them feel important so you can build mutual trust and gain equal benefits as them. Kindness is contagious. The world consists of two types of people. One is the optimist who tries to find positivity in everything. At the same time, the other is the pessimists who believe that to move up the ladder of society, they must use manipulation tactics to derive profits from the other person. Despite the dual nature of optimists and pessimists, the truth is that we should seek understanding with kindness and empathy. Kindness is contagious. It always comes back to you in one way or another. Negotiation with kindness is also an important part of communication skills. Whenever we talk about negotiation, arguments come to our minds, but it is very possible that we can negotiate with someone without arguing with them. Negotiation is very important if you want to stand up for yourself. Otherwise, you'll be nothing but a people pleaser. Daniel Kahneman, a groundbreaking psychologist, said that humans are illogical. They only function in two ways, either animalistic or logical. He argued that humans are filled with desires and dreams, which diminishes their ability to think logically when presented with an opportunity. As a result, humans fall into the trap of emotions, which can destroy their reputation and ability to analyze a person's hidden motives. Mirroring the speaker. Chris Voss says people will likely like you if you mirror their behavior and habits. Humans love seeing a reflection of themselves in others, so it is a feasible way to gain someone's attention. Another reason mirroring can work is when you want the other person to do your work. For example, if your boss has asked you for a report, mirror his words and say, "I'm sorry, what, a report?" Chances are that instead of repeating the sentence to you, he would either do the task himself or change it for you. You can achieve the skill of mirroring by having a soothing and assertive voice. Focus on the speaker's words rather than critically analyzing them to start an argument. Avoid involving emotions in your discourse, as it complicates things. It is as simple as you can while mirroring the other person. Become compassionate and understanding. Compassion and kindness go hand in hand, and compassion is undoubtedly a remarkable and attractive quality a person can have. Chris Voss emphasizes that humans are more likely to bond with you when you show empathy to them. Sometimes, listening to other people's problems can make you forget yours. It is important to put yourself in someone else's shoes, as it helps eliminate the victim mindset and also helps balance out emotions. You should become conscious of your emotions and start labeling them, as it will help you identify why you keep feeling the same negative emotion repeatedly. There is always a reason behind everything, even behind your emotions, such as unresolved trauma, betrayal, or hurt from someone or something. Labeling emotions also comes in handy when you are holding a conversation with someone. Expressing negative emotions with someone is likely to release stress, and the other person feels more connected to you, seeing that you are facing the same problem as him, which can be manageable. Another way to build your reputation regarding communication skills is to say no. Not only does it protect your boundaries, but saying no alerts people to find ways to persuade you. Many times, saying no can build more trust among people than saying yes. If someone can see that you are brave enough to say no to someone, they will respect you more, thinking you have your own identity and opinions. Be critical in your negotiations. The word negotiation often scares people, as they perceive it as an argument. Christopher Voss changes this narrative by providing a proper negotiation technique without arguing. The first and foremost rule of negotiation is never to be persuaded by others. Our main goal should be to persuade others, and only compromise on something if it's in our favor. He further mentions 4 techniques that can make your negotiation successful. Pausing after your sentences will allow the other party to think more thoroughly, giving you more information about them. While negotiating, talking continuously isn't a good move. Let the other person speak so you can know their goals and motives. The next technique is to show engagement so the person won't feel as if they are talking to a wall. The other 2 techniques involve paraphrasing and summarizing the other person's arguments and statements so you are on the same page. Using unfairness as a strategy. When we are negotiating with someone and they accuse us of being unfair, we immediately try to speak in their favor to be in their good books and persuade them that we are, in fact, not being unfair. But have you ever thought that this can be used as an advantage? Do whatever the opponent is doing to you. Accuse them of being unfair and see how they raise the price if you are negotiating for a business deal. Let your opponent pay the first price rather than going in first yourself, as it will give you an idea of what the other person is expecting from you and how you can raise the bar higher. Lowering your opponent's expectations by giving an odd number is a very manipulative tactic when negotiating business deals. In this way, you avoid taking a risk to lose everything. Keep your emotions in check. Emotions are your worst enemy. The first rule of negotiation is always to keep your emotions in check. Sometimes we are too overpowered by our desires and dreams that in the what of the moment, we end up fearful of losing the deal. So we offer arguments driven by emotions. You should never ask to state your terms first when negotiating. Either the statement comes out of fear or pride. Both of these are vices when it comes to the art of negotiation. The person you are dealing with also has feelings and emotions, so he definitely will if you don't speak. Here, kindness and calmness come into play. Be patient and observe your opponent. Do not strike first, rather let him go first. It will give him an image that you are being respectful of him when, in reality, you are just being smart. If we must sign a deal or make our landlord decrease our rent, we should follow the following techniques. Begin by asking open-ended questions. If your landlord has increased the rent, ask him why and what caused him to increase it. He will be forced to solve his problem. Another thing you can do is to try and force him to tell you about the decision of all the other people involved. You can ask the landlord how the other tenants feel about him increasing the rent. It is also a brilliant way to spot liars because they will start acting hesitant and using third-person pronouns rather than giving you a direct answer. Many studies have been conducted on the collaboration of words and body language. If our body language does not match our words and our words do not match our body language, chances are that the other person will never be convinced and will consider you a hoax. He will never be convinced by anything you tell him. To be best at negotiation, we must learn to control our emotions, fear, anger, and pride. A calm and neutral approach is the key to becoming a successful negotiator. Know your opponent as you know yourself. The way you know yourself makes it a point to know your opponent similarly. When negotiating with someone, bring a positive thing you have learned about them by observing them. It will amaze them and help you establish trust between you and your opponent. You can also achieve this by showing interest in what your opponent likes. Knowing about their dreams and goals makes them feel more welcome in your territory. People are more likely to remember those who reciprocate their feelings. Show empathy and kindness to them, and be very calm when they are stating their problems or something about themselves. This can also be achieved by engaging in face-to-face conversation with them. Although everyone is similar, some people are so predictable that you just need one meeting to get to know them. But some people are like black swans. Every time you meet them, they show you a different shade of them, and then it becomes hard to understand which tactic or technique should be used with such people. These people can make you lose your temper. You may call them words you shouldn't. The key is to observe them and remain calm in such situations. Debating styles. Chris Voss also talks about 3 debating styles that can be used while negotiating. Analysts do not show much emotion. They are all about business, structure, and the deal's value. Meanwhile, accommodators are open and friendly, so they may talk more than listen to the other party. This can weaken their negotiation as they are more interested in talking than observing. This can give their opponent an edge in manipulating them into what they desire. Lastly, we have assertive people who can be aggressive. They are all about the business deal. They are too focused on the goal and do not think about anything else. Conclusion: being a perfect negotiator is impossible, but using the techniques Chris Voss has provided, one can improve at it with practice. To know your opponent's mind, first, know yourself and your style. Have empathy, but do not be a fool. Be compassionate, but do not demolish your boundaries to fit into a group. Most importantly, never settle for less than you deserve. If you can believe it, you can achieve it.